What's up, guys? Here it is a rainy Tuesday, heading to my friend Riley Friesen's. He's an amazing producer-songwriter. If you haven't heard me talk about him, you definitely will be hearing me talk about him. He is phenomenally talented. We actually signed him to a publishing deal back in December, and his stuff has just been really taken off. So he's a amazing track guy. We're riding today with Chad from the band Unspoken, one of my favorite bands. He's a great singer, great writer. And I found out this morning when I woke up, had some kind of cool news to share. Found out that I am now a Amazon #1 best-selling author, which is very cool. Got to co-author a book thanks to my friend Kyle Wilson and Kelly Calabrese. It's not really a music-related thing, but it's kind of entrepreneurial. It's called Mom and Dadpreneurs. And being in music, you have to be as much of an entrepreneur as you do a creative in order to make it a career. There's a lot of people out there who are great at music, but just don't get the entrepreneurial side of things, so they can just never quite figure out how to make it a career. So I love getting to share a little bit of my story in that. Got to co-author alongside several other really successful entrepreneurs, and we found out this morning that we went #1 in 10 different Amazon categories and top 5 in a bunch of others. So that was really exciting. So go check that book out if you haven't already. It's called Mom and Dadpreneurs. Mom and Dad, Preneurs. So I know the spelling's a little bit hard, but go check that out. And yeah, it's been a busy week. I was out in Aspen speaking at Inspire Song Conference alongside some of my friends Matthew West, Benji Cowart, Tony Wood, and several others. And man, I'm just always so inspired when I get to connect with and meet new writers, because it kind of just takes me back and reminds me what it felt like when you're in the beginning, just chasing it, trying to get your first cut, trying to make your first publishing deal happen. And so I love getting to talk to folks who are in that situation. And man, just some talented folks out there in Aspen. And flew home and got to walk into a pretty much brand new recording studio, which was exciting. For those of you guys who have been following our stuff, sorry about this claw. I promise the technology part of this vlog is going to get better as time goes on. But walked into a pretty much brand new Full Circle Music Studios, which if you've been following us, you know that we've been working really hard on building, construction, design, everything for the new place. It's going to be awesome. It is awesome. It's kind of officially open now. We've still got boxes everywhere and cables everywhere and figuring out where stuff goes. But it's exciting times, because this is the first time that we as a team, when I say team, there's about 5 or 6 of us that are all able to collaborate under the same roof, which might not sound like a big deal, but to us it's huge. We've been doing it for the last several years, just kind of like me in my studio. My co-producer's name's X, you'll hear from him. He's been in his own studio. Logan's our marketing and sales guy. He's been down in another place. And then Jericho, who's kind of day-to-day and my assistant on everything. He's been in another place as well. So it's going to be nice just to be able to have a meeting spot. I'm really, really big on FaceTime and just quick communication. So that's going to be exciting. I'll be one of these vlogs, or maybe a couple of them. We'll take you on a little tour through the new studio. It's exciting. We've got main control room, we've got a second control room, we've got a main tracking room, second tracking room, and then we've got 5 ISO booths. And that's so we can essentially accommodate recording 1 or 2 full bands at the same time while having a meeting. And then there's a separate songwriting room too, which Matt Hammett, one of the most genuine, talented people in the world, formerly of the band Sanctus Real, he will have his setup full-time in the writing space, which I'm really excited about having him around too. I love the idea of just being able to run around and bounce things off people and play things for people, and likewise, so just to kind of be available that way. It's awesome. So yeah, that's exciting. Two pretty awesome things in one day. Just getting settled in a new studio, about the Amazon book, and I'm trying to think what else is going on. Yeah, lots of stuff. Yeah, we're going to be doing K-Love Fan Awards this weekend. Excited to hang out with some folks there. Several of the artists that we've worked with are on that show. And we're going to be having a booth at the K-Love Fan Zone. And what's really cool about that is we're actually breaking down the production on 4 songs that we've produced. So that's exciting, because if you're interested in knowing what goes into a hit song, this is your chance to walk up to the booth. We've got 4 iPads set up, and we've got stems broken out. And what stems are is just like one stem might be the drums, one might be the lead vocal, one might be the percussion, one might be the guitars, one might be the keys, then one might be the effects. So you can kind of literally solo up, like John from Skillet, for example. One of the songs we worked on for them was called Feel Invincible. And you can literally solo up, here's what his voice sounds like on Feel Invincible, and here's what the guitars sound like on Feel Invincible. So me as a music fan, I got to go to the Experience Music Museum out in Seattle once, and they had a Nirvana and a Jimi Hendrix thing that was similar, where you could go through and solo up each, like here's the drums, here's the guitar, you kind of mix it yourself. And it sounds a little simple, but for me it was really cool just to hear, okay, well that's like Jimi Hendrix's raw, unfiltered voice. It was kind of a powerful thing for me to hear. So we're trying to do the same thing with things that we've been a part of writing and producing, so you guys can hear exactly what goes into making these records that we make. Oh yeah, and the third thing I almost forgot about. I don't know how I forgot about it. It's huge. But I still can't announce what it is. You're going to find out any day now. There is an artist that I have been a fan of for as long as I can remember listening to music. And I grew up going to his concerts. In fact, it was my first concert ever. And we had the opportunity as Full Circle Music to release his next 2 songs through our label, which is incredibly, I'm still kind of like, I don't know how that came together, but it just did. And we're really excited about that and hope to serve him well, add value, and get his music out to the world. And again, for independent artists out there, I talk about this all the time, you don't need the huge label to have success. If that's the thing that's holding you back, and you feel like you're just waiting on the record deal to make something happen, then it's probably not going to happen, and you're probably not going to get the deal anyway. As a label owner, what we look for, and I say we, I'm not a major label, I'm an independent label, but what any label looks for is an artist who has enough self-initiative to figure out how to do it without the labels. And I just think this year was a monumental year at the Grammy Awards. Chance the Rapper, I don't know if you guys follow that, but completely independent, won a Grammy on just a streaming-only record, again, it's monumental. And I had a friend that told me he just put it up through TuneCore. So if you think if you think that the label and the record deal and having all this massive infrastructure behind you is the excuse or the solution, it's not. They can certainly help, and labels are valuable as long as you already have your own artistic identity, your own self-initiative, your own vision for what you want your career to be. Then that's the place where you need a label. Label is very rarely going to come along and sign and develop something from square one. So you really have to do a lot of the work on your own. I know it's a little bit of the bad news, but the good news is it's easier to do that than it's ever been before. YouTube, like I said, Chance the Rapper puts his record up on TuneCore. That's available to you for $50. Doesn't cost hardly anything. Recording your music is more affordable than it's ever been before. You can buy a laptop and go get Logic for $200. I know a lot of people who literally only have that and maybe a USB mic, and they make some pretty good sounding records. So I contrast that with the fact of saying, if you can afford and figure out how to assemble the resources to hire professionals, then great. But don't feel like you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a full master quality product. You can get stuff done for as cheap as $3,000 a song on a pro level nowadays, as far as having a master that's ready to put out to radio. And so yeah, I'm happy to make a referral if you guys are needing somebody. But I always encourage people to dive in yourself and really learn what goes into making a master quality record. Figure out how Logic works, figure out how vocal editing works, because then when you go in the studio with the professionals, you're going to know better how to speak the language. And so get that. There's really no excuse. Figure out how to have a job that can give you the flexibility to spend lots of time honing your craft and learning how to market yourself well. Now, here's what I tell people. And I'm naturally an introvert, so self-promotion and marketing for me is not a thing that's come naturally to me. I've just had to learn how to do it out of necessity. And the reality is you could be so talented at your craft, and if you don't have those skills at the promotion and at the marketing, and I'm not talking to just artists out there, I'm talking to songwriters, producers, anybody who's in the music business anywhere, you have to be able to market yourself, because all marketing really is it's person-to-person relationship. You could be marketing to one person in a coffee shop, or you could be marketing to hundreds of thousands through your email list or YouTube. Now, all marketing is just talking to people, telling them your message. And I always say the most effective marketers come at it from a standpoint of what can I give, what can I offer, not what can I take. So us as creatives, our mission writing songs and creating music is to impact and better culture, and to help people understand just some of the complex things that go in and put into words and create prayers for people. So if we go into it as a what can we give, and I always tell people this too, start with just writing a song for one person. Like, don't think about this song is for moms who are going through a hard time, who X, Y, and Z, but think about one person in your life right now that needs to have a song written for them, and write it specifically for them. Doesn't mean you have to put their name in it. Doesn't mean that you have to unearth every situational detail, but I always say that if you write a song for one person, there's a better chance that it's going to connect with many than if you write a song for many people. So a little bit of a paradox, a little bit of a mind shift, but I thought that was really, really cool. So the self-promotion and marketing thing is really, really important. Study what other artists are doing. It doesn't have to feel salesy. It doesn't have to feel slimy. It doesn't have to feel like it's not you. And in fact, what I would say is if it doesn't feel like you, it's probably going to not work in the first place, because you need to be yourself. It needs to come off genuine and authentic. So I'm getting ready to pull up to Riley Frieson's studio. Again, we're getting going here with this band Unspoken for their next record. Check them out if you haven't already. But yeah, it's fun chatting with you here on this vlog. I'll be getting better, like I said, at the technology part of it, but I think the more important thing is for me to just start talking to you. So here I am, and thanks for watching.